Chapter number 9. Human Resources. Human beings are the greatest resource because they can develop and use all other resources present on the earth. During ancient period, all the works were done manually, so the concept was simple that countries having more population were strong and powerful. But after the Industrial Revolution and with the advent of modern technology, the trend changed. Now, people who are more skillful, trained and creative are an asset. They know how to use natural resources and lead a good life with a good standard of living for themselves and for others too. Skill is simply defined as the capability and capacity to develop natural resources into useful products. Natural resources and human resources together lead to the development and progress of the country. Population distribution. The population of the world is not evenly distributed. Population distribution is simply defined as the pattern in which people are spread or distributed all over the world. People give first preference to those areas which are rich in natural resources, productive, and are accessible. There are two factors which decide the distribution of population. A. Physical factors. B. Non-physical factors. Wonderful to know. The Government of India has a Ministry of Human Resource Development. The ministry was created in 1985 with the aim of improving people's skills. Physical factors. Relief and topography. Relief and topography play a crucial role. Most of the people like to live on plains instead of plateaus and mountains. The plains are well suited for living, agriculture and construction of roads, canals, buildings, railway lines, etc. Agriculture is easy in the plains and it is not tough to set up a manufacturing unit too. Plains support more than 90% of the world population and cover half of the world's land area. Plateaus are less populated in comparison to plains. On the other hand, because of very tough living conditions, mountains support a very small proportion of the population. Climate. People do not like extreme climates because it creates various problems in surviving. Sahara is very hot desert and polar regions like northern part of Canada and Russia are entirely cold belts. These regions are scarcely populated. Research shows that areas of moderate climate and abundant rainfall are densely populated. Natural vegetation. Hot and humid areas are not suitable for population. Therefore, the population density is very low at the Amazon and the Congo basins. Dense and inaccessible forests grow in these areas. Soil. Humans have been practicing agriculture for thousands of years. Soil plays a very important role in the development of agriculture. The areas of alluvial and lava soils support more population than the areas consisting of laterite, desert or mountain soil. Research shows that ancient civilization on river valleys was successful due to the presence of fertile soil. The famous fertile plains, which are densely populated, are those created by the Huanghe and Changkiang rivers in China, Nile in Egypt, and Ganga Brahmaputra in India. Mineral resources. People are also attracted towards the areas which are rich in mineral deposits. These areas consist of high density of population. For example, oil in the Middle East and diamond mines of South Africa attracted people to settle in these areas. War resources. Water is essential for living beings and sustains the life on the earth. People like to live in those places where fresh water is easily available. People like to live in those places where fresh water is easily available. The most important source of water is rivers. They supply water for agriculture industries, and domestic purposes. Due to such reasons, people settle in the river valleys. Non-physical factors. Industries. Development of industries in a country promotes its overall development. It also provides several employment opportunities, due to which people settle in industrial regions. They also migrate from different areas for work and settle themselves in these regions. Means of transport. A well-developed and organized transport system attracts trade and industry. A majority of the cities are located either along the coast or in plains. These cities have adequate transport facility, that is why these places are densely populated. Urbanization. Majority of the urban centers are well equipped with diverse economic activities. The infrastructure in urban areas is better than that of the rural one. People get attracted for better living standards, medical facilities, and trade. The density of population in an urban area is more than 5,000 persons per square kilometer. Government policies. Sometimes government policies also affect the population distribution. They cause migration of people from one place to another. Some government schemes provide special housing schemes and financial assistance to attract laborers and workers. For example, Barauni township of Bihar, where an oil refinery is functioning. Density of population. Population density is defined as the number of people living in a unit area of land. It is generally expressed in per square kilometer. The average population density of the world is about 45 persons per square kilometer. The area with highest density of population is South Central Asia. According to the density of population, the world can be divided as densely populated areas, moderately populated areas, thinly populated areas. Densely populated areas. The regions with dense population have suitable climatic conditions, fertile river valleys, and plains with adequate agricultural population. West Asia and East Asia are densely populated areas of the world as intensive agriculture is practiced here. Large urban and industrial population is supported by Western Europe and Central North America. These areas are densely populated, due to which mineral resources, development of industries, and best suitable climatic conditions. Wonderful to know. Average density of population in India is 382 persons per square kilometer. Moderately populated areas. Moderately populated areas are not found in a continuous belt. They lie between densely and sparsely populated areas. People prefer these areas due to improved infrastructure, mining, and industrialization. Ukraine, Southern Russia, Central USA, South Africa, Argentina, and Central China are moderately populated areas. In India, the Deccan Plateau is moderately populated. Sparsely populated areas. The areas with harsh and unbearable climatic conditions are sparsely populated. These are either extremely hot or extremely cold. They are not favorable for habitation. Most of the prominent sparsely populated areas are extremely hot deserts such as the Sahara Desert, the Australian Desert, the Kalahari Desert, and the Arabian Desert. Tundra region in the north and the polar lands of Antarctica in the south are sparsely populated. Mid-world mountain chains of Europe and Asia and the high mountains of America are also sparsely populated areas. Population growth. The growth of population is simply defined as the change in population in a particular area between two different points of time. This particular change in the population is a result of migration and natural growth. Population rises as more children are born. It is not always possible that whosoever is born will survive. Therefore, we calculate birth rate, which is the number of live births per thousand persons in a year. Death rate is the number of deaths per thousand persons in a year. Natural growth rate is the difference between the birth rate and the death rate. It tells us about the increase or decrease in population. Population growth can be shown either in absolute numbers or in percentage. Different patterns of population change. In ancient times, the growth of population was too slow. There was less availability of food and people did not live a settled life. They followed a nomadic pattern of life. As time passed, innovations and learning changed the situation entirely. Population increased rapidly after the Industrial Revolution. An estimated 1 billion people lived in the late 19th century, but by the end of the 20th century, this figure reached up to 6 billion. The developed nations of the world, like the UK, the USA, Russia, Canada, Sweden, Switzerland, Japan, Australia, Singapore and New Zealand have low death rate and birth rate. The reason for low death rate is availability of advanced medical facilities in these countries. Comparatively, the developing and the underdeveloped nations have high growth rate of population. The reason is simple. Their death rate is low and birth rate is high. These countries are Brazil, Mexico, Egypt, India, Bangladesh, Kenya and Ethiopia among others. Migration is the movement of people into and out of an area. It is another way by which population of a place gets affected. People may move within a country or between countries. Immigration is a process into which people arrive in a country. These people are known as immigrants. People who leave their country are called emigrants. Country like Sudan has experienced a loss in population number due to emigration, whereas countries like the United States of America and Australia experienced an increase in population due to immigration. A country's population is counted through a process termed as census. In India, the census is undertaken every 10 years. In India, 4 phases of population growth can be identified. 1901 to 1921, stagnant population. 1921 to 1951, steady growth. 1951 to 1981, rapid growth. 1981 to 2001, high growth with some signs of slowing down. Population composition. The population composition is defined as the structure of the population. Age, literacy, sex, and occurrence are the major components of population composition. These components differ greatly from one country to another and from time to time. Age composition. Age composition is simply defined as the number of persons in each age group. Commonly, the population of a country is broadly divided as children below 15 years, adults between 15 years and 65 years, aged above 65 years. It is a very important indicator to determine the percentage of productive population. The people who lie in the age group of 15 to 65 years are considered as productive people. They are an asset to the nation as they are active workers. The remaining 2 groups need continuous care as they are the dependent population. In developed countries, the USA has a better population growth mainly because of immigration. Almost 95% of the population growth in the world is taken place in developing countries, while the developed countries show a static or declining population. Sex ratio. Sex ratio is defined as the ratio between males and females in the total population. It is the number of females per thousand males. Generally, the sex ratio should be balanced, but it is witnessed that male births exceed female birth in most of the countries due to biological reasons. In 1998, the world sex ratio was 986. In 2001, the sex ratio was 933 females per thousand males in India. The reason for this imbalance is female foeticide, malnourishment, and lack of awareness among parents. In some states of India like Haryana, Punjab, Delhi and Gujarat, the situation is alarming. Population pyramid, age-sex pyramid. It represents the distribution of males and females of different age groups in a particular country. It provides a better understanding of the composition of population of a country. Let us analyze the population pyramid of 3 different countries. Due to low birth rates, the population pyramid is narrow at the base in the countries like Japan. Hence, the lower death rate allows the people to reach old age. In the countries like India, due to lower death rate, the population pyramid is broader at the middle. It depicts a large number of youth in a country. Some countries like Kenya experience high death rate and birth rate. Therefore, population pyramid is broader at the base and narrow towards the top. As children die in their infancy, relatively few become adults. Rural-urban divide. Rural population comprises the people living in the villages, while the residents of cities are urban population. The data of 2004 depicts that around 47% of the world population was urban. In our country, around 70% people still live in villages. The major reason is that India is an agricultural country where a majority of population is engaged in agriculture. Literacy. Literacy is not equal in every part of the world. There are several factors which affect the literacy rate of a country. These are urbanization, social status, level of economic development, government policies, etc. Urban areas in India witness higher literacy rate in comparison to rural areas. Literacy is higher in males as compared to females. In India, Kerala has the highest literacy rate with 93.91%. According to the 2011 census of India, overall literacy rate of the country was 74.04%. Female literacy rate was 65.46% and male literacy rate was 82.14%. India is a developing country with growing population. So, it is necessary to provide proper civic amenities, education, healthcare, technical training, and a well-balanced and stable political surrounding.